everybody, what's up? Is here, and I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Adams, RVA original OG, here to celebrate his, what was it, top two finish.
Finalist, brother.
Got his invite to Nationals, so we're celebrating that. Wanted to get you the deck profile here and all the nice clean-cut combos that he's got set up for you. So, Adams, take it away, please.
So, Yeti Spaghetti is what we're calling it. It's Final Fantasy VI, obviously, and Jonathan, you know, from just from the Boston Crystal Cup.
4 years.
We that was the deck I played. You and I in top 16 when we met. FF6 is my favorite Final Fantasy, and it's a deck that's actually always been good. I mean, I say always been good, kind of off and on. I feel like the deck for a while paid for the sins of Opus 4 Locke for a very long time. But these last couple sets, we've gotten this really strong suite of FF6 cards, and I feel like Opus 19 just brought us into critical mass territory. So I had been playing a list just for, you know, funsies, and my teammate John Schreiner, shout outs to RVA Snugsy right here, he's like, hey, there's this list I'm seeing, I've tinkered with it, let's go ahead and let's put this in front of you, tell me what you think, go ahead and play it in the RVA Weekly, shameless plug. And it was 47 out of 50 Final Fantasy VI cards because, and we'll get to the engine here in a second, and it sang for me that first night, and I was like, well, I'm just going to keep doing the thing with it, and this is the deck I'm the most excited to play in Opus 19. So let's go ahead and talk about the deck. This is, again, RVA Yeti Spaghetti, which you've seen here. The engine card of the deck is 5 CP Locke, a card that came out in, I believe, what, Opus 15?
It says on behind. Sir,
I'm old, brother. I am old, brother. Opus 15, yes.
long ago, actually.
Which feels like a lifetime ago, but this guy, whenever you cast a Category 6 card, you get to reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a Category 6 character, you put it in your hand. So, now that we've hit that critical mass of Category 6 cards, he has unlocked, he has turned over the Declaration of Independence. He has rubbed all these cards with a lemon and realized that they all say at the bottom, when you cast this card, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. Because he's not limited to once per turn. It's just that whenever you cast ability, which is great against random tech cards we saw here like Sid Randall. Sid Randall doesn't stop this guy. If you're going to burn an Amaterasu or I'm still coming at, no matter what you try to do to stop this guy, you're just not gonna do it. You're a bad player if you do it. And then in Opus 15, we also got an incredible legend, Edgar. He was Opus 15, right? 17. He was 17, wasn't he? 17. Yes. I'm so old and I'm so sweaty. But we got this Edgar legend and this Saban hero, which are literally, these guys put the backpack on and carry the deck. These are your removal. These are your reactivation. This guy recurs from your break zone. Like, Edgar is just the heart and soul of the deck once you get past Locke. Because with Locke on board, Edgar becomes literally a draw 3, which is huge. And then the rest of the deck is filled with just a critical mass of Category 6. Now let's talk about the backups first. The backups, we've always had a good suite of Category 6 backups. Obviously, Banana Sid from Opus 4 has always been just a staple anytime you're playing a card named Locke. Anytime you're playing a deck with ice that wants you to get a 6 character, he is the searcher. He is just the heart of the backup line. Then in Opus 9, we actually started to get a lot more backups. We got, I want to say Interceptor was also Opus 9. He's 11, Jesus Christ. But I know Shadow, which was our spoiler, by the way, Cyan and Setzer were all Opus 9. I think Gastal was Opus 9 as well. He sure was. I'll be damned. So the backup line continued to grow. Then we got Interceptor in Opus 11, which just really gave the deck a lot of pressure early on. Then in this last set, we got a new Terra backup that, cool, you can get a summon back, or you can deal the Dole Forward AK. Now, the initial build, I was playing 3 Amaterasus and 47 Category 6 cards. So, with Locke, if you hit an Amaterasu, which would go to the break zone, you kind of felt like your turn was over. Well, Terra kind of mitigated that a little bit, but John, I went wild. We were playing some games, we were testing a lot of games, and John rolls up to me with a full art General Leo and says, brother, why don't you give this a try? Because what was happening also too, John, was I kept hitting I kept hitting Amateratsus with Locke, and that kind of ends your turn sometimes. Because sometimes you're like, you're mapping it out. I need another card off the thing I play. You get Amaterasu turns over, and you're not where you want to be. Well, General Leo, by doing this, I'm literally now playing 50 Category 6 cards, which also makes this standard deck a legal title deck if you're nasty like that. But General Leo now ensures that Locke will hit 100% of the time. I need KP on that spreadsheet. 100. That is 0 misses. KP, do the math on that one. 50 cards, you don't miss. You don't miss at all. Which is great for turn extension, because ideally you want to play Locke and build behind that. And the fact that he's a 9K makes, especially with the meta right now, there's a lot of just 8K damage, 8K bodies, 8K removal. So Locke gets over a lot of that. Now we've talked about Edgar, we've talked about Saban. Let me talk about Go-Go here for a second. Go-Go actually plays well with a lot of forwards in this deck. He plays well with some of the newer ones we're going to talk about, but he also plays well with the Edgar and Saban that we mentioned, because he can copy Edgar, which can copy Saban. Now, you have to stack it a certain way. You just can't charge up S's with Saban. You have to resolve one, then resolve another. But of course, again, keep in mind as I'm talking about these cards, they all literally say draw a card when Locke is on the board, so keep that in mind. So Go-Go is great when you need to just, it's great against boards that want to go wide. Also great against boards that want to dull and freeze. Ice Lightning is a very popular deck. Saban plus Go-Go means I'm going to reactivate all my guys and they're going to be plus 4K. Or they'll be plus 2K and I'll kill a guy. Whatever, you've got a lot of options. Now, the real meat of the deck came in this new set, Opus 19. We talked about the Terra, but we got a bunch of unique new Category 6 card, which created that critical mass for Locke. We got a new Umaro and the Dream Stooges. So, again, we're looking at, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, so yeah, 15, 18 now new Category 6 cards that just fuel this guy. Now, Stooges come in, they're kind of a package. Let's talk about the Stooges here for a second. They're kind of a package deal. Laragorn lets you search one of the 2 out of your deck. Mobius, which is off color for the deck, lets you play one from the break. And Kurlax, this guy is just such an overachiever. When you have all 3 out, first of all, when you have all 3 out, they become 8Ks. They're 8Ks, and Kurlax says if you have all 3 out, you can just on every turn pay 0, dull freeze a forward, which is great. Also in conjunction with Go-Go. If you have Go-Go and the Stooges out, you're dull freezing 4 forwards literally every turn cycle, which is gross. But Kurlax's other ability is if a Stooge goes from the field to the break zone, you discard a card. So he sees himself leave, and he sees the other ones leave. So in the event of a Hecaton chair, which one of my opponents this weekend actually played a Hecaton chair, not realizing how that worked, and it became like an 11 CP Hecaton chair, which I was very happy to resolve. Wow. So these guys just became a really great pressure piece. These are great follow-ups after a Shantoto, because you're going wide because you're getting card advantage from Locke. Saban's costing you 1. Another great card in this set that is always going to cost you 0 is Mog 6. Mog 6 is a 4 CP 9K Ice Water that says if you control 4, he's reduced by 1 for each Category 6 character you control, which means he can become 0. So a lot of times you can pay him for free off the backup line, and then with Locke, you're just going to draw a card. And at damage 3, he's going to dull freeze a character and draw you another card. So you can, if you have Lockout, Mog, damage 3, Mog 6, Lock Trigger, get a card, dull freeze that guy, draw a card. So you just kind of reload the grip there again. And Mog has an insane ability during combat where if you attack with him, your whole board gets first strike. First strike is so important right now. So this guy is always your leadoff attacker. And again, he's hasteful by Interceptor. So if you play him for free, just tap Interceptor, give him haste. Now your whole board is just on fire. Which is great with party attacks with Celis, which we know what Celis does at this point. She's going to Searcher Lock, she's going to force a discard, but when 6 characters party attack, you can recur, either freeze 2 characters or recur 6 characters from your backup. So you can start to see how it all starts to gel. But let's talk about the namesake of the deck real quick. This is the new Umaro. The Yeti himself, the namesake Yeti Spaghetti. This guy is a 4CP 8K that with Brave, you can just break him to deal his power to a forward. Then during your main phase, you can just discard 2 category 6 cards from your hand and put them back onto the field dull, which plays well with a lot of things. So he is just on-demand removal that you really can't interact with unless you're playing, you know, some I can't be damaged, kind of like Magissa with Yuzuki is a great example. But we'll talk about our outs to that. So he becomes a piece that you kind of have to play around. He's also great with Go-Go, whereas if you crack Umaro for 8K, Go-Go can trigger and hit something for 7K. Great in the 13 matchup. Then, again, we're playing 50 category 6 cards, so if we start to draw multiples of Interceptor, multiples of Banana Sid, backups, characters we don't need, we literally turn those into a piece of removal. Now, granted, he may come in dull, but Saban has another S, not just Aura Cannon where he can blast something for 8K, he has a Chakra, which can give everything 2K and activate. So he can turn these forwards that are coming in dull or these smaller bodies into just bigger, with Mog, first strike threats on attack. So the deck just really gels together. And then I've got a couple of cute pieces. Obviously, we're playing 3 of this new Saban. Let's talk about this guy for a second. He is primarily S fodder for Aura Cannon Saban, but there's actually been many games where, excuse me, my voice is cracking, I've been hooting and hollering all weekend, where his ability is super relevant. Because with him, you can, when he comes into play, he will deal 8K to as many forwards as many category 6 characters have gone from the field to the break zone this turn. So there's already instant synergy with Umaro, but there's also synergy with Gestalt and Emperor. You can Gestalt and Emperor kill a guy on the next turn, break it just for nothing, because you can break it without having a dark card. Break it and then drop Saban 8K something. Or do that, Umaro, Saban, you've now literally killed 3 things. Yeah. But again, 6 Sabans because you really want to fuel Chakras, you really want to fuel Aura Cannons. 6 I have found has been the magic number. I've never gummed up with the card, and I feel like I almost always have some action. But it feasts on a lot of decks that want to play a lot of 8K bodies like Soiree. Decks that want to dull freeze you like Ice Lightning. It doesn't matter. Ice Lightning can dull freeze your whole board. You just need 1 Chakra to turn them all back ready again. And there's not a lot in Ice Lightning that can stop 9K, 11K first strike. So there's just a lot. Another thing too I didn't mention, Shadow Backup, who actually gets a lot of action. He really plays great with this Saban. You can pop Umaro, kill something, pop Shadow, kill something, potentially play the Saban for 2, kill 2 more things. That's effectively, you have your own Hecaton chair kind of built into the deck. So, and then one of the things I wanted to mention with General Leo before I continue to ramble, this guy is just such a really neat, he kind of makes matchups really weird. He is a great protection piece for Edgar. No one is ready to play around the Leo into Edgar. Now you know he's going to resolve. He's not going to get Amaterasu. Also great against those Soiree decks or those, no, I don't want to say Earth Ice because I got dumpstered by that deck, but decks that want to play the Hecaton chairs, that want to just be real summon heavy, they want to play the Odins. You lead with General Leo, and he just kind of stops what they want to do. Now, yes, the downside is your forwards have to block, but when I almost always have a 2K pump on demand, my blocks are always favorable. So the deck just, it's definitely a deck that is the sum of its parts. And again, it feasts. It's a good meta call because it does feast on those decks that want to play a lot of AKs, Soirees, Ice Lightning. It has a okay matchup against 13. I did forget the last card before we finish up. Vargas. Magissa can be a little tough. So we got Emperor Gaston. We also have Vargas here. Vargas actually plays very well with Umaro. It's a little cheeky, but he's also another unique FF6 card. So you can have a turn where you just pop Umaro, kill something. This guy now becomes a 13K that says, I am now going to make whoever is a threat, I'm going to make them block me. So great against the Magissa matchup where they want to slam that Yuzuki, which shuts off your Saban, shuts off your Umaro, right? You just play this guy, force Yuzuki to block, and now you're back in business. But, I mean, that is it. That is the deck. It took me to a second place finish at the first Materia Cup of the season. I almost called it Re-Ray / Crystal Cup. Got me my qualification to Nats, which has been it's been my flavor since day one. So just really happy I get to share the deck with everybody, and I hope people. It's also one of the most fun decks I have ever played in this game. Now, I'm an FF6 mark, so here we are. But again, it's what I highly recommend people to try it. It's just a lot of fun. If you love FF6, you'll feel right at home with it. But it also is just very, very good in the current meta. So we'll see how good it is moving forward. But I can't complain. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yep, Chris Adams, thank you so much for taking the time out, man. I know
Thank you, brother.
Your team's waiting for you. One more shout out to everyone.
Well, I want to shout out RVA returners, John Schreiner, Alex Tessimer, Adam Duncan, Adam Lane. Congratulations on becoming a father this weekend. Shout outs to the triple triad, not trial, that's a lot of alcohol in me. Triad. You boys have been part of the journey since day one. Just shout outs to all the friends, all the Meta Potion guys, the Cali guys, the Kansas guys, Cody Snodgrass, Garage Gang represent. Just my opponent in top 8. He's standing right here. Brandon D, who's got next up on the Deck Tech line, who actually, I hope everybody was entertained with the FF6 video game top 8 matchup.
Yes.
Just a great weekend of cards. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to share my deck. So
take care, man. Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you, brother.